Hi everyone. Welcome back to If My Heart Had Wings, where I always busy fixing up the leaks in the Flying Fish Manor in the middle of a powerful typhoon. So this one's quite old, and it's had to withstand 2 prior typhoons, and now this is the 3rd one, and it's causing leaks, broken windows, loose ends here and there, and at the wrong time these girls show up and they're trying to get attention, saying that they're here, but obviously Aoi and the others are too busy fixing the problems. And thanks to Kanako, I was able to notice that they're here, and they're the new tenants that the mom was talking about at the end of episode 41. And we've seen these girls before. So, if you remember the time when Aoi saw someone buy expensive meat just for curry. So let's see what these girls want now that they have the attention of Aoi. So it's like, here?
住むことになってます。
Well, I'll just say it. We're gonna live here. We're gonna stay here. So Girl B jumped in to finish what Girl A was desperately trying to say. So I wonder why Girl A is nervous and why is it really hard for her to say something. Hey, so hold on for a second. So what did you just say?
ですから。
So we said that
ここに住むんだってさ。
that we're gonna live here. So Kanako speaks like it's got nothing to do with us. Well, I'm pretty sure it has something to do with all of them. Wait, what? So Girlie was frightened again by my loud voice. So I think this is where I always should calm down a little bit and not freak anyone out. And you should know that Girlie is already nervous about what's going on.
風と朝です。
Okay, so I am Asa Kazato.
風と夜よ。
And I'm Yoru Kazato. So for time being, I gathered all the boarders in the dining hall and got the 2 girls to introduce themselves. Okay? So it seems that Asa, the timid one, is the other, or like the older sister, and Yoru, the blunt one, is the younger sister.
朝と夜。あ、面白いわね。
Oh, so night and day. Kotori seems really impressed.
車椅子の人だ。あの子、なんだかバカっぽいわね。風戸さんって、もしかして噂の天才姉妹じゃないの？
And it seems that Ageha knows more about these girls. Wait, genius twins? Wait, what are you talking about, Ageha?
ほら、今年の春頃話題になったでしょ？すごい天才が入学してきたって。
Oh, so these 2 just transferred to Keifuu Academy.
おまけに双子で美少女姉妹。それは。
Well, that is... Hey, now that you mention it, there was a rumor about that. So, the guys in our class were making a big fuss about this. And not because they are geniuses, but because they're beautiful twin girls. Okay.
ほほう、天才とな。それはどのくらい？
Geniuses. Is that true?
なんか入試はダントツのトップで、その後の授業でも天才ぶりを遺憾なく発揮し、 一説では望月あまねを超える逸材とかなんとか。
So these two girls, they got really good exam scores, or like excellent exam scores. And so the second part's like, well, their intellect can match the level of Amane. So, in other words, they're really smart. Wait.
飛岡先生が早速ロボット部にスカウトしたらしいわよ。断られたようだけど。
And obviously, the not so good teacher, Tobioka-sensei, would want them in the robotics club, helping him win awards, make achievements, and make something that's going to impress everyone and help build the reputation of the school. So now that he lost Amane and Ageha, he's preying on some new smart person to continue the projects, continue the club efforts.
この子たちがあまねちゃんよりも天才ですって？
So Kotori seems to be looking at the two girls with a hint of, nastiness in her eyes. Well, it's because they criticized Kotori for being in a wheelchair. So some strange thoughts must be going through her head again.
ねえ、そうなの？違います。それは私じゃなくて、ヨルちゃんだけです。
Okay. So Asa, the older sister, takes a step back as if she's pushing her sister forward. It's like, well, Yoru is the real genius, so if you have any questions, talk to her. I'm just a tag-along. So everyone looks at Yoru with curiosity. But
どうでもいいでしょ、そんなこと。
it's like, well, it doesn't really matter. She said as though she found this whole thing rather troublesome.
ヨルちゃんはすごいんです。きっと本当に天才です。
It's like, see? She is the genius. She's smart.
この子がね。
Well, she looks like it.
言っておくけどね、あまねちゃんはすごかったのよ。
Okay, so Kotori's like, well, they are smart, they're geniuses, but I wonder how they compare to Amane. And I feel that Amane is the better one.
食いしん坊のくせにお腹空いてるの忘れちゃうくらい集中しちゃうんだから。
I was like, well, Amane is devoted. When she has some idea that she really wants to put forward, she's willing to sacrifice meals to make it happen.
それはただのおまぬけさんじゃ。
But she's an idiot.
なんですって。
Alright. Well, it doesn't matter. Just be quiet. So I try to calm down Kotori, who's getting more and more angry, or like worked up. If I just let her say what she wants, Amane will probably just sound like even more of a weirdo.
それより私たちには自己紹介させて、そちらはないんですか？
Okay, so actually, I want all of you to introduce yourselves to us. So we've already done our part. Okay. Yes, you're right. So we went off on a bit of a pointless tangent there. So everyone pulls themselves together and introduces themselves one by one. Asa listened enthusiastically, whereas with Yoru, it was like everything was going on in one ear and out the other. Or going in and out. So Ageha's not a boarder, but she introduces herself too. She often comes here, so if those two are going to live here, it's best if they know who she is. Okay, that makes sense. And then my turn finally comes around. So Aoi goes last. So he's like, my name is Aoi Minase. I'm the dorm mother, and I'm sorry if I scared you just now.
いえ、とんでもな ここ女子寮じゃないんですか?
But then again, why is a guy here? So, even though you're the dorm mother or like the leader, it should be a female that's doing the job. Well, for various reasons, I'm doing the work of the dorm mother. And if you remember, it was the mother that pushed him to take this role.
女子寮の寮母を男性が。それも、こんな若い人がするなんて。
So the problem is that it should be like an older lady, but it's you. So, that's kind of strange. She appears to be looking at me with suspicion. Well, you see,
葵くんなら大丈夫だよ。女の子に興味ないから。
Well, he's okay. And plus, I don't think he would be this bad towards girls. Unlike Taiyo from Kokoro Function. Wait, what?
そうよね。これだけ女子に囲まれて生活してるのに、彼女ができたこともないし。
And despite having all these girls here, he has no girlfriend, so that makes him okay.
かなちゃんが下着姿で歩いてると怒るくらいだもんね。きっと女嫌いなんじゃないかな。
Okay. Hey, hold on for a moment. Why are we talking about this?
じゃあ、あるの?
So wait, are we wrong? Of course, I'm interested in girls. Uh-oh.
葵、この子たち完全に引いちゃってるよ。
Hey, come on, you're freaking these girls out. Wait, what? Well, you got it all wrong. Come on, I am interested in girls in a perfectly normal, healthy way. So I wouldn't be doing anything strange or inappropriate. So I think the problem is that if Aoi is not interested in girls, it makes him considered a gay person. Like, oh, I like guys, so I'm gay. And that gives people the wrong idea as well. And I'm sure it's gonna be hard to get out of that label as well. So either way, Aoi can't win.
やっぱり他の寮にした方がいいんじゃない?姉さん。
So we have a guy here, and that makes it uncomfortable. So I think it's better if we change places. I dig myself into more of a hole the more I speak. Well, they have him cornered. And then, as if sensing my predicament, a dog came walking into the dining hall. Hat. Hello?
Ahiru?
So at that moment, the twins turned their attention to Hat.
ちょうどいいところに来たわね、ハット。あんたも自己紹介しときなさい。
Okay, so Hat, introduce yourself. Okay, hello. I'm Hat.
ヨルちゃん、この子ちゃんと自己紹介したよ。かわいい。コールダックね。この寮ってペット可なんですか?
Well, I'm pretty sure Hat is not a pet. So the owner would be Iska. But Iska isn't here, so I wonder how we can classify Hat. Well, actually, we're not, but you know,
ハット先輩はペットじゃないの。この寮に住み着いてるだけだから。
Okay, so Kanako fills in, it's like, well, Hat is a... Well, he just lives here.
いわば同居人ってわけ。
And he's a housemate. So the twins look like they didn't really get it. But he's cute, so they just kind of accepted it. Okay. So anyways, why did you come today? I heard you were going to come tomorrow.
それは...
It's because... So Asa was acting nervously,
人暮らしできると思ったらいても立ってもいられなくて。
So it's like, well, we're kind of excited that we're gonna have our own place to live. So it was so exciting that we couldn't wait. So we just went ahead and moved in early.
不動産屋からは部屋は今すぐ使えるって聞いたわ。
And for yours, like, well, I didn't really want to be here, but because this place was available now, I had no choice but to go along with it. And I wonder if Yoru was thinking about something that was even grander, even better. And I wonder what that place is. Okay. So Kotori, Ageha, and I had troubled look on our faces, and the other boarders looked kind of awkward. So right now, due to the typhoon, there are leaks and various other problems.
見た目だけじゃなく中身もボロなのね。姉さん、やっぱり他の物件を探そうよ。
Okay, so I guess that this is not a place for us to live. It's in really poor condition, and it even looks bad from the outside, so let's just go find somewhere else to live.
でも
But,
すぐ入れる部屋は他にないっておじいちゃん言ってたし。じゃあ家に帰りましょう。
well, let's just go back home then. So I think it's like, well, even this place is not ready to go yet, so it makes no difference waiting for a better place than this one. So why not we just wait?
それは嫌。
No, I don't want to. So why is Asa saying no? Said Asa empathetically. She seems to be quite strong-willed. So why has it suddenly been decided that you be coming to live in our dormitory? So why here? Or like it's early July. If you're planning to move into a dormitory, now's not the best time.
姉さんが急に家を出たいって言い出して、それで部屋を探してもらったのよ。
Well, Asa wanted to move out.
最初は学校にできた新しい寮に入るはずだったんですけど、部屋が空いてなくて。
Okay, so they were looking at some other place, but it's unavailable. Oh, that dormitory. So Kotori, Ageha, and I all had slightly grim expressions on our faces. So this year, Keifuu Academy built a new student dormitory. It was built on the back of the school. In other words, the site where the Soaring Club's garage once sat. And the truth is that the school had been planning to build a dormitory for a while, and the garage was in the way. So they did have a reason why they wanted to tear down the Soaring Club. But obviously, the teacher, Tobioka-sensei, he went even further to make sure the Soaring Club can't come back up. Because usually what they do is they would relocate the club to somewhere else and use that space to build whatever they want to. So that's the reason why a group of teachers, starting with Tobioka-sensei, wanted to have the Soaring Club's status repealed. And the existence of the new student dormitory had an influence on the Flying Fish Manor too. So due to there being a delay with determining the land that would be used for the student dormitory, the significance of the small places like Flying Fish Manor was recognized. However, since the new dormitory was built, the school seems to want to end its agreement with the Flying Fish Manor. An external dormitory which the school can't keep a close eye on has plenty of things to be worried about, it would seem. However, the rent here is cheap, and that's because the owner runs the place almost as a hobby. And that's why even though the new dormitory has been built, Yuka and the others decide to live here in the end. So they did build something new, but they charge a lot of money to pay off all those construction costs. And I'm pretty sure the new dormitory, it's financed or it has outstanding loans. And that gets factored into the rent costs. So all things considered, not only the former members of the Soaring Club, but everyone here has mixed feelings about the new student dormitory.
それでおじいちゃんが昔の知り合いに相談して、ここを紹介してもらったのよ。
But I'm pretty sure the school's hoping that they will all forget, like the old Soaring Club people will move on, and when the new students show up at the school, they won't even know anything about the Soaring Club or that even existed. So does that mean that my mother and your grandfather know each other? Well, maybe that's the reason why my mother suddenly told me that they would be coming tomorrow.
何でもすごく頼りになる方だと言ってました。
Well, yeah, she's a good person. Wait, did he?
うちのおじいちゃん、慶風学園の理事だから。
Oh, so I can see why these girls are smart because their grandfather, he's like the I'll say like the superintendent of the school. So he pretty much sets the education standards, and he obviously has great expertise in all the classes that are being taught there. Wait, so what?
夜ちゃん、そういうことは。いいのよ、先に言っておいた方が、後からバレるより。
So you're the director's granddaughters?
正確には理事長ね。
Well, more like the chairperson of the board. So the boarders begin to murmur as they hear such a powerful sounding title.
というわけだから、部屋を見せてもらえないかしら。
Well, that's... So it's not ready yet.
すぐに入居できるんでしょ?
So wait, we were promised that we can move in now. What's the problem? Well, there's a really bad leak, and also we thought you'd be arriving tomorrow, so I wasn't... Or it's not cleaned up yet.
すみません、急に来ちゃって。いいわ、とりあえず見せてもらいましょう。状況を見て、一度帰るかどうか考えるから。
But anyways, I just want to take a look at it anyways. So, no, I said I can't show it to you right now. Well, you can just show it to them and not let them live in it right away.
怪しい態度。何か隠してます?
Wait, so are you hiding something in that room and you don't want us to find out? So this girl's smart. So, it's true that I always hide something in the big room.
行こう、姉さん。
Okay, so without further delay, let's just go. So the twins ignore me as I start to panic and head towards the room. So they must have heard the room number from my mother.
やばいよ、葵。なんとかして引き止めないと。
So the secret is in that room, and I wonder... Okay, well, anyways.
あの態度の悪い方、ムカつくわね。相手は理事長の孫だよ。見つかったらやばいって。
Oh no, so if the grandfather finds out about it, then we're gonna be in big trouble. Oh yeah, you're right. But I can't think of any way to stop them. Because the more that he tries to hide it from them, the more suspicious these girls will have. Well, anyways, I'll be back.
なんだかカビ臭くない?
So how is he gonna stop them? And I wonder if the secret is the glider under construction.
ちょっとだけ。でもきっと雨が降ってるからだよ。そうかしら。古いせいだと思うけど。
Well, it is old though.
それに台風でギシギシいってる。壊れちゃうんじゃない？
And it feels like it's falling apart.
そうかも。やっぱりやめようよ、こんなところ。うちの方がご飯も美味しいし、おじいちゃんだって。
Come on, let's just go home. I'm sure grandfather has better things over there.
この部屋だ。
And before Yoru could say more, they found the room.
あれ？
So I think the door is stuck and they can't open it.
何これ？なんだろうこれ。これもしかして。
Wait a minute, can it be? So as I reached the second floor, the two of them were staying there, staring blankly at the glider inside. Okay, so the secret is the glider. And you can see I always standing there behind the girls like, oh, we're just looking after this.
雨漏りなんてしてないじゃない。
Oh, so you lied to us. There's no leak. It looks pretty good, the room condition. It's just that... Oh, yeah, you're right. So it looks like someone fixed it, I guess. Okay, and that's obviously a lie from Aoi, because there's no way anyone would fix this room. And they would leave... Or basically, it's impossible that the timing is perfect. So it's fixed by the time they arrive unexpectedly.
これを隠すために嘘をついていたのね。
Well, it's obvious. You're lying. You're trying to prevent us from seeing this. Yes, that's right. So I quickly owed up to it. And it seems like there's no use lying to this girl. And that's why she's smart. She's a genius.
でもどうしてこんなものがこんな場所にあるの？だってこれグライダーですよね。
So you know what it is. Well, I forgot the situation for a moment and accidentally answered the question. Also, I was rather happy as I did so. So gliders are little known forms of transportation, and not many people have actually seen one. And not only that, this one is currently dismantled.
だって私これもしかして学校から盗まれたやつじゃん。
So the bigger question is that why is it in this room and why is it not at school? I'm sure it's property of Keifuu Academy.
葵くん、大丈夫かしら？
Well, I hope nothing bad happens up there now that they've seen our secret, the glider.
さあ、どうだろう。今更ながら良かったのかな？あんなことしちゃって。しょうがないじゃない。ああでもしなきゃ博物館行きだったんだから。
It's like, well, that was the only thing we can do, so we had to hide it somewhere. And having it being sent to a museum isn't that bad compared to having it being destroyed by the teacher, Tobioka-sensei, because, well, if you have a glider, then it's going to encourage the Soaring Club to come back online at a future date. And I must destroy it, crush it into pieces, and shred it before that happens.
そしたらもう二度と取り返せなかったかもしれないのよ。あのグライダーは私たちがあまねちゃんから受け継いだものなのに。
Okay, so the same glider that they flew before. And when they were done with the flights, they didn't put it back in the garage. They moved it here. And the good thing was that it was spared from the demolition from Tobioka-sensei and the school.
だよね。ねえ、どうなの?
So as Yoru seems to find my attitude even more unusual, she becomes more determined to find out the truth. Okay. So back then, when the boarding club, or like the Soaring Club was shut down, when the garage was forcibly taken away from us and demolished, the glider was no longer inside. It had been moved to another place. So after that, under the school's instruction, it was kept in a storeroom. We wanted to get it back and quickly, but since there was no way we could fly it, and we didn't have anywhere to put it, we kept quiet and let the school take care of it. And then a few days ago, we heard some surprising news from certain sources. The school is trying to have the glider donated to the museum. Okay, so instead of having it being crushed and destroyed, they're gonna sell it to a museum. And not only it makes sure the Soaring Club never comes back, it also helps generate money for the school, and it might help pay off all those loans that they used to build the new dormitory. So the glider is made by the old members of the club, and an original aircraft like this is extremely rare in the country. So they can sell for a high price. So therefore it has the value of something to be collected by a museum. To the school, it was seen like a waste of storage. Like it was seen as a waste of storage space, and they wanted to dispose of it. And if it had gone to the museum, we would never have been able to have gotten it back. And as an extreme measure, we decided to steal it. Move it somewhere else in secret. And that's the reason why it's here. Oh yes, that's correct. So if I lied, I'd soon be found out. I admitted it honestly.
呆れた。こんなところに隠していたなんて。
So it's quite surprising that the glider ended up here.
そのせいで私たちを寮に住まわせない気でいたの。
So is that the reason why you don't want us to see this? You don't want us to be here? No, well, I heard you were coming from tomorrow, and I was planning to move it somewhere before then.
どうだか。
And unfortunately, we were still in the middle of a huge typhoon. And the only other place where we might be able to store it, a great big glider like this, would be the entranceway. However, given the circumstances, we would want to leave it anywhere, or would not want to leave it anywhere noticeable. So please, you must keep this a secret. So don't let anybody in the school know that we've taken this and hid it somewhere. So I put both hands together like I'm praying.
私たちの理事長の孫だって。さっき話したわよね。
But that's a problem as well. It's like, well, we can let the grandfather know about it, and he's gonna be upset, and he's gonna let the whole school know, and then they're gonna secretly come and repossess this glider and go ahead and sell this to the museum and make the money and make sure the glider is gone.
どうして私たちがあんたたちのために祖父を裏切るような真似。ここがいい。
But you know, it's kind of good having it here.
姉さん?
So Asa seemed like she was full of determination as she made her statement.
私、ここがいいの、ヨルちゃん。聞いてなかったの、姉さん。ここにあるこれは学校から盗み出されたもので。
But you know, this is stolen property.
それでもね、ここがいいの。ごめんなさい。
So Asa begged her sister Yoru, who seemed to be both scolding her yet astonished at the same time. It's like, well, also, why would it be good in this room? Isn't it kind of a misfit?
あのね、姉さん。そもそもこんなのあったら寝る場所もないじゃない。
And this is taking up our room. We have no bed.
大丈夫。こうやって。
Well, I'm sure I can make it work out somehow. I'll just make a bed somewhere. So Asa laid her petite body in the gap between the fuselage and the main wings that were leaning against the wall.
私は嫌よ。
Well, that's too uncomfortable for me to sleep there, so I'm out.
でも、今日はここに泊まっちゃわないと。
But this is our room, and so the whole building shook and it rattled as it was battered by strong winds.
外は台風だよ。かといって、ここが安全ともあまり思えないけど。なんだか不衛生そうだし。
It's like, well, it's unsafe, there's leaks, and also there's mold and mildew, and that's quite unhealthy. So if it ends like this, our secret will be found out. And that's a glider here. Okay, so as of today, the two of you are our friends. And let's all get along together. Okay, so let's have a round of applause. I say as if I forcibly encourage everyone to clap. And I'm sure Kotori still doesn't have a good impression of these girls.
葵くん、顔が引きつってる。こりゃバレたわね。
Well, the things that they found out about our secret. And I also wonder how they're able to get this big machinery into a room upstairs. Because I'm pretty sure the stairway, it's quite cramped and narrow, and they would have hit the wall several times to be able to make it up the stairs. And same thing with the wings. And I wonder if it was able to fit through the doorway of that room. But anyways, Asa's happy to be here.
ま、適当によろしくね。
And Yoru's like, well, I'm just gonna stick with it, if that's the case.
態度悪。
Well, I still hate her attitude.
いいのゆかさん、あの子超態度悪いわよ。新人教育も兼ねて、ここはビシッと。
So Kotori makes a real fuss about it, while everyone just replies with a,
私ら、もう慣れてるし。
well, I guess it'll work, it's okay.
慣れてるの？なんで？
Wait, how can you get used to that? So everyone gives a sideways look as if to say, well, you see,
ぶっちゃけ、小鳥ちゃんはこの10倍くらい態度悪かったもんね。
Hey, think about what you were before. You were like that when you first came in. You were all angry, always complaining, and you close yourself away from everyone else. You like to be in a room alone. And I'm sure Kotori does not want to be reminded of that memory.
ちゃんと自己紹介してよろしくねっていうだけマシだよね。
So, think about yourself before you criticize other people. So Kotori looks to Ageha and me like she's looking for a backup. Come on, say something. Help me. Well, I agree.
左に同じ。
So she's surrounded by opposing opinions on all sides. So no one's going to side with Kotori.
何よ、みんなして。私、こんなに態度悪くなかったもん。
Oh, come on, admit it. I wasn't that bad.
でも、部屋はどうするの？だって、あの部屋。
But But then again, we have that glider in the room. What are we going to do about it? Yuka murmured or mumbles unintelligibly. So we received implicit agreement from the boarders that we could hide the glider in the dormitory. And they highly valued my achievement of getting the new fridge and understood our feelings as former members of the Soaring Club, so they turned a blind eye to the whole incident. Well, I'm sure they don't really care about having this in the dormitory. It's just a little... So once they pack it in the room, it will not bother them at all. And this is why, supposedly, they had decided to pretend that they didn't know that it's here. Well, we'll search for a place to store it as quickly as possible. Until then, you two can use my room. So everyone made a face as if to say, wait a minute, is that okay? Well, I don't have many things, so I can easily clear a space so you can sleep anywhere you like. And I think it's like, well, the problem is that they're sleeping in a guy's room, and that's kinda fishy. Well, that won't work. So how about you sleep in my room? Says Kanako. Or maybe Kanako's inviting Aoi to her room. It's like, okay, so if you're gonna give up your bed to these twins, then you can use my bed to sleep instead. And once again, Kotori's looking someone else to help her, or basically stand for her. So I'm afraid he'll do something inappropriate, and that's going to cost him his job. Right. So everyone says things like, yeah, or that would be a problem for us. Which is why so that proposal is rejected. So I don't need to say things like proposal rejected. It's not like this is some business decision. And so Asa spoke nervously. Well, I guess we'll take that room with the glider, even though the glider's in there. So, but there's nowhere to lay a futon, you know. Well, I can handle it. Everyone looks at her as if they're saying, well, what on earth is she talking about? Wait. Well, that's right. Her eyes lit up when she was looking at the glider just now. So does she have some sort of emotional attachment in it? For example, she might be some sort of airplane nerd. Well, I decline. No, I won't do it. Well, you can use my room then. Is that okay? Fine then. And for some reason, she nodded reluctantly. So, that's that, everyone. It's just for a little while, so I'll appreciate your cooperation. Okay, so it looks like I was going to give up his room for the twins. And it looks nothing special other than the bike and the wheels.
そうね。
Yeah, it is. So the two of them nervously look around my room.
あ、漫画がこんなにいっぱい。やっぱり男の人って漫画が好きなんですね。
Okay, so I see manga, said Asa, impressed, but all of them were brought here by Ageha, who had just left them here after reading them. So they're not mine, but Ageha's.
お菓子の食べかすが落ちてる。
And it's kind of dirty. Well, they're not mine either. It's because of Ageha and Kotori, they have been eating in this room. So since the garage was demolished, my room had become our meeting place. And that's why there are so many things here that I have no recollection of. Well, I'm sorry. Well, I'll just clean up that place. I'll tidy it up. So I clear away the trash and put all the unneeded objects out in the hallway. Well, while I'm doing that, they just sit idly, like they stand idly there waiting. Wow, those two. They've been treating my room like a place to leave all their junk. So after coming and going in several times, I see Asa holding the photo frame that was on the desk.
この写真。
Wait a minute, this photo.
ん？
I peek over the heads of the two sisters who have their faces close together. It's pretty easy to do that because even for girls, they're pretty short. Oh, you mean that photo. And there's a photo of the glider and the runway overgrown with weeds. So, the blue sky stretching out in all directions. The shining white clouds bathe in the sunlight. Then there's the group. So, obviously, Kotori, Amane, and Ageha. It was taken on the day that I had come back from the last test flight with Amane. It was a commemorative photo. So this is the glider you saw just now, and that's what it looks like when it's all put together. So how does it look? Or how does it look? So both of them, especially Asa, looked enthusiastically at the photograph.
いつ撮影したものなんですか？
So that was around the end of the last year's summer holiday. We flew the glider at dawn. Strange clouds called morning glory appear, and that's what we're aiming for.
じゃあ、あの時飛んでたのって、やっぱり。
Oh, so it must have been you or your group that was flying. And they were actively looking at the glider as it was flying over the area, over Windmill Hill, going up the clouds, across the lake, and such.
でも失敗したんでしょ？
But you failed, right? So they obviously saw the glider nearly fall out of the sky. Wait, how do you know?
さあ、
Well,
小鳥さんとアゲハさん、葵さんですよね。
so she points to the faces in the photo one by one.
こちらの綺麗な方は？
So, who's this person then? So the last person in the photo, she points to the one in the picture with a carefree smile like a little kid. Oh, that person? She's the Mane Mochizuki. So also known as the super repeater student. She's already graduated though.
さっき小鳥さんが言ってた人ですね。
Oh, so that's the Amane that Kotori was talking about earlier. Yeah, so that's her, the genius who's so smart, she forgets that she's hungry. I add as I laugh at how strange that is.
伝説の先輩。
So it looks like Asa and Yoru know about this person very well. Wait, legendary? Well, maybe that's true. So maybe the student of Keifuu Academy will continue to tell the story of Amane Mochizuki, the strange senior, for a long time to come. And this is like an urban legend. So I narrow my eyes as I smile from the feelings of nostalgia as I look at the photo. And the two of them look at me curiously from below. So something happened and the club lost its status, but originally we were the members of the Soaring Club. Then this photo is the last memory, or like the last memorial picture of our club activities.
もう活動はしないんですか?
So, it's gone, right? The activities? Well, we're still kind of continuing it. And now we've gone completely underground. So we're not recognized by the school, and we carry out our activities in secret so we don't get found out. So Asa, are you interested in gliders? Not really. You see, so she goes bright red as she looks down.
姉さんは空を飛ぶものに興味があるの。昔からね。
She is. She's just trying to deny it, or like trying to forget about it, or like lie to you guys. Yeah, I do like it. I see. So we're planning to fly again soon. So you can come and watch if you like. Okay, I'll do it. So Asa's big round eyes sparkled, and she nodded happily. So when the sun went down, the mother of all storms blew outside, so we couldn't go out there and do any repairs. And all we could do now was pray that the old dormitory could withstand it and wait for the typhoon to pass. Okay, so that girl Asa seems to be interested in gliders. So he tells the story, or he spreads the word to Ageha and Kotori. So I was telling Ageha, who had been helping to make dinner, about the twins. Because it looks like she won't be able to go home tonight, it seems that Ageha will be staying in Kotori's room tonight. So I asked her if she'd like to come and see us fly next time. Her eyes sparkled as she said, okay. And that's great, isn't it?
それでさっきから鼻の下伸ばしてたんだ。かわいいのね。
No, well, I didn't mean like that.
そういうのロリコンって言うんでしょ?
Hey, where did that come in? So Kotori, who had been quietly chopping the vegetables, joined the conversation. Hey, you idiot. So, what the hell do you mean? So they're only 2 years younger than me, and that's not a lolicon. Well, it's like they look young, is it?
葵くん、ああいう子がいいんだ。
But no, Aoi-kun, that's a really bad thing to be labeled as. Obviously.
葵って面倒見がいいから手がかかる子に弱いんだよね。
She says as she looks at Kotori from the side. Kotori doesn't notice her looking as she mumbles things like, well, that's so cute, isn't it? While chopping up the cabbage. Well, we couldn't go shopping that night, so we were making okono miyaki, fried omelet type things from the food we had left over. Anyways, so can you girls take back all of the manga and other things that you left in my room? Because it's creating trash and clutter, and the girls are looking down at me for all that stuff. And if you don't, I'm just gonna throw them out.
あれは貸したんじゃん。ちゃんと読んでよ。マジで面白いんだって。
Oh, come on. I gave it to you because I want you to read it. And if you throw it out, it's gonna be quite sad that you're throwing out my collection.
そんでもって熱く語り合おうよ。
Well, if I have time.
ねえ、ロリコンって具体的に何歳差からを言うの？
And Kotori's still on that lolicon subject. It's like, so how much of a difference do you have to be in order to be considered a lolicon? Hey, forget about that. Just chop up the vegetables, will you? The raging storm shook the Flying Fish Manor. And this is a good place to stop for this episode. So I feel that this episode is important because we see where the twins come into the main story. But more importantly, I wonder what they're going to do with the glider and where will they store it now? Because I'm pretty sure they want to find a place where people like Tobioka-sensei don't find it. And I'm sure he is pretty serious to make sure that this glider does get sold to a museum. And in a sense, he can get the money or get some of it to fund his beloved robotics club. So the glider is technically stolen because it's built using money from the school. The materials were paid for by the school because of Amane, and they have every right to sell the glider to a museum. And I'm not sure if they know about Aoi, Ageha, and Kotori taking the glider from the storage room. And if they did, they could file a missing report, and that would get law enforcement up into action. But it all comes down to what the grandfather of the twins say about this glider, whether or not he wants to side with Tobioka-sensei and the other administration and faculty in making sure this glider gets sold to a museum, or is he going to side with Aoi, Kotori, and Ageha and help protect the glider from being taken, retrieved, and also the faculty members charging Aoi, Kotori, and Ageha for theft of property. And because the glider is special and costs a lot, it can mean jail time for all three of them, plus a hefty fine. But hopefully that does not happen, and maybe Asa can help defend them about the glider. I'm not sure if Yoru is going to be interested later on, but it's too early to tell. And with that in mind, I'll see you in the next episode.